Okay, you guys can hear now. Okay, can you guys on Rumble see everybody on the screen? We want to make sure everybody in America can hear this today. Can the people who are on Rumble see the screen that we're on in Zoom? Okay, guys, we almost got this together. We just want to make sure that everybody can see this well. Okay, we're gonna try one more time to get this shared so that the app allows you guys to hear us because we're having a couple of issues. So we're gonna try again. We are going to try to share my screen so you guys can see us on Zoom. So we're gonna try one more time. I know it's gonna blank out for a second. Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to make it so that you guys can see. Okay, guys on Rumble, it should be a couple of seconds, and then you should be able to hear us and see us inside of a Zoom meeting. We have a little bit of a delay. The next thing you should see is us inside of a Zoom meeting. I want to welcome everyone on today. We are going to have a good and blessed time. Can you guys hear me speaking through the screen? Is there no echoes? We're getting ready to get started. I promise you that you are going to see some mind-blowing information. Mind-blowing information. Now, what we are not going to do, we're not going to have an open day where we are going to have everybody discuss things as we do the video this time. We are going to have everybody mute out so that we can discuss the things that we have to discuss for the nation. And it's going to be highly enlightening. Now, I want to say before we get started, and then I'm going to pray, that the people of the United States of America have been broken and sad for some time as they try to figure out how to deal what is going on in America. Many have lost their jobs. Many have struggled and had issues and went through great pain. Many are dealing with the issues of tyranny. And there have been people by God who have stood up in order to deal with real law. Now, I know many times it seems like there's no remedy. There's nothing that we can do. There's no hope. But the truth is that when we understand what the law says, we are able to step up and take massive action and do things that are unbelievable. So I want to talk to you guys about the 87,000 armed men that people want to use to suppress the people. See, there's no reason in the world for 87,000 men to be hired to deal with the people of America. And the reason I say that is because the states have not been created in the way that we have been taught. And today I'm going to make some pretty bold claims. I'm going to say some things that seem strange. But the one thing about what we are going to do here today, and I want you to share this with everyone you can in America, we have to get this out because this foolishness will stop. And it will be by God. And it would be because of what we do today to put in work. Now, people will tell us that these 87,000 people are going to be armed and they can come and interact with the people by right because they are the IRS. And they're going to tell us that the IRS has the power to control what the people do. But the problem is we have what is called a United States Constitution. And we also have what is called state constitutions. Now, the sad thing about America is I can come before you today and I can tell you that most of you have no idea what the state constitutions say. Most of you in America today have no idea what the state constitutions say. And that is a sad thing, because if you do not know what the state constitutions say, it is a great likelihood that you cannot defend yourself if any bad actor in government wanted to punish you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pray, and then we're going to get deep into this thing, and we are going to see knowledge and wisdom like you have never seen before. Once again, I'm going to ask everyone to share this video all over the place, because we need to get the word out. Now, Rumble is really funny about showing how many people are watching the video at one time and holding back numbers, and the numbers are going to change like crazy. I see 109 is probably way more. But what I need to happen is for you guys, as we pray, to get out there and share this with everyone. Now, once again, the people who are on the video on the Zoom are not going to be actively speaking unless we ask someone to read, because these people have already learned. These people have done the work. These people have understood, and these people have actually went face to face with government to teach them the real law, either in person or by notice or affidavit. Now, this is going to get really heavy, so we need to make sure that we are reading and looking closely at every single thing that is said. So let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you thanking you for this day. We come thanking you for your love and mercy. We come thanking you for your truth, Father. We come thanking you for all that you do for us. And Father, we know that this nation is a great nation, Father, and you have made it a beautiful and prosperous nation. And you have allowed this republic, Father, to stand, Father, in a way that no other nation has. You have given us great advancement, Father. You have given us great blessings. And we even know, Father, that our forefathers called out to you, Father, as they brought forth the states. They actually spoke about you in the great words of the state constitutions, Father. And this knowledge that we have and understand and that we see, we know that the world has been trying to tell us, Father, that it was not this way, and that nobody loved you, and that everybody was against you, or hedonists, or people who did not believe in you. And Father, as we have dug into the truth, we see that they claim that by you, Father, is the only way that we can have these amazing blessings that we enjoy in this country. And so, Father, we thank you for being the great legislature of the earth, Father. We thank you for giving us mercy and this opportunity to tear down that which is wrong, that which is crooked, that which is wicked, and to see the truth, Father, in love together, Father. No matter what age we are, no matter what race we are, Father, you have brought us together to be able to enjoy the blessings that you have given us in America. And for that, we thank you, Father. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, guys. So we're going to get started, and it is going to get heavy. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is talk to you a little bit about how government deals with you today. Now, many of you know that if you have an issue with what is going on in government, let me see some comments, guys, for those of you in the live chat. If you have issues with government today, many times when you approach them to talk to them, they do not want to hear you, or they tell you that you can make a decision what is going on when you come together with other people and vote every 2 years or every 4 years. Let me know, guys, if that is common to you. Have you guys seen where people have turned to you and said you can vote on what it is? And guys, I got a door open. I'm on a farm, so we're going to get some flies, okay? But But I want you to realize that your government servants tell you that you can vote if you want to make a difference, and you have the choice to pick somebody whose policies fit in line with what it is that you like. So they're telling you that you can vote for someone who has policies that fit in line with what you like, meaning the one with the policy is the one who determines, and the only way you can make a difference is if you vote for someone. Now, what I'm going to do is show you that that is 180 degrees opposite of the truth. I'm going to show you that a man who has never went to law school, a man who does not hang around attorneys, can read plain English, and I'm going to show you in plain English how the nation was really set up. Now, this is super important, guys. I'm going to share something from the Virginia Constitution. Let me get it ready. I'm going to share something from the Virginia Constitution. And I know my screen's going to go black for a second, and then I'll be back so you can see it. So we're going to share my screen. Okay, so we're going to go to the Virginia Constitution. I want everybody to let me know if you can see the Virginia Constitution. Everybody in the comments on Rumble, let me know if you can see the Virginia Constitution. Thank you so much. Okay, so here we go. We are going to read from the actual law, guys. These states were created before the United States, or this one that I'm getting ready to read. So what I want you to understand is the Constitution of the state is going to declare to you something in plain English. We need to understand and know what it is that our forefathers said. So if you just look at the text of the preamble, this is going to be different from what from what people tell us today. It says a declaration of rights made by the good people of Virginia. So your forefathers made the Constitution of the state when there was no government to make the Constitution. So the people have all the power, and I'm going to prove it. In the exercise of their sovereign powers, which rights do pertain to them and their posterity as the basis and foundation of government. So they created the whole government, the basis and the foundation, in order to be a blessing to themselves and their posterity. Now it's going to get deeper. So check this out. Section 1, that all men are by nature equally free and independent and have certain inherent rights. They come along with them. They're from God. Watch this. Of which, when they enter into a state of society, they cannot by any compact deprive or divest their posterity, namely the enjoyment of life and liberty with the means of acquiring and possessing property and pursuing and obtaining happiness. So I'm going to ask y'all a question. How many of y'all today feel happy? How many of y'all today feel like you can enjoy your liberty without the government interfering? How many of you guys believe that since 2020 that the government has been treating you the way they should? How many of you believe that the government has been allowing you to indulge in the liberty that you choose to indulge in? And I want you guys to type it in the comments. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read section 2 while I'm waiting for your answers, because there's like a 10-second delay. That all power, now notice it didn't say some power, that all power is vested in and consequently derived from the people. right? So that's you guys, your forefathers. Now watch this, that magistrates are the trustees and servants, are their trustees and servants, I'm sorry, and at all times amenable to them. So this is deep, because what it is saying is the government actors are the servants and trustees of the people. They are not higher than you. They are not equal to you. They are simply your trustees, excuse me, and servants. So a trustee being in the text means that there must be some trust that is here. And what I'm going to tell you is that the state constitution is a trust. The state constitution in every state is a trust. And what you're doing is you're giving them the ability to be able to make decisions with your public matters. And the whole state is not just some big sovereign, almighty, all-powerful entity that's more powerful than the people. It is simply an association of people that's coming together voluntarily. Now, if you are an attorney watching and you want to fight, I dare you to say that states are not political associations. I dare you to say that they are not voluntary. And I dare you to say that the government actors are not servants and trustees of the people, below the people, not equal to the people at all, and they are always amenable to the people. Now, if you don't believe me, let's finish section 2. It says, and at all times amenable to them. The government is amenable to us at all times. They are accountable to us at all times. Now, I would venture to say that actually means when the government decides to not follow the contract, when they decide they're not going to do what they're supposed to do by the law, when they say, you know what, we don't care what the law says, you are going to follow us and do what we say if you like it or not. That if they're not following the contract, that we can clearly remove them from their position at will. I want you guys to see remedy. I want you guys to know what the real truth is. Let's look at text of section 3. It's going to be simple. That government is or ought to be instituted for the common benefit. That means the government is only here to benefit us. Protection, to protect us. And the security of the people, nation, or community. Now, guys, I want you to realize this is in Virginia Constitution. Most people are going to naturally say, if you're reading me about Virginia Constitution, if that's what you're reading to me, does that affect me if I'm in Michigan, if I'm in Ohio, if I'm in Florida? Well, we can clearly see that this says security of the people, nation, or community. Now, watch this. Of all the various modes and forms of government, that is best, which is capable of producing the greatest degree of happiness and safety. So the government is literally supposed to be making you happy and safe. I don't think, after we see that the Obama administration used the IRS to target people they didn't like, and we see the FBI targeting people they don't like and targeting presidents, and we can see our money and time wasted going after people like President Trump with a false dossier, knowing that it was false, creating the documents falsely, cheating by in tribunals or courts by changing emails and words in order to be able to try to get a warrant or to be able to get a judge to sign off on your ability to be able to eavesdrop on Trump, right? We know these things happen wrong now. Now, I look at it and I just say Trump is a servant. He did some good things in office. Obama was a servant. Other people were servants. I don't have a choice of people based on their political party. I just care that they do what the people say. So I think Trump did a good job at making sure he followed what the people needed and what they wanted. But watch what this says. That is best, which is capable of producing the greatest degree of happiness and safety and is most effectually secured against the danger of maladministration. Now watch this. Maladministration just means bad administration. Now watch this. It's going to get heavy. And whenever any government, does that just mean Virginia? And whenever any government shall be found inadequate or contrary to these purposes, a majority of the community hath an indubitable, that means it can't be questioned, inalienable and indefeasible right to reform, alter, or abolish it, that's the whole government, in such manner as shall be judged most conducive to the public will. So once again, guys, in the state of Virginia Constitution, we just seen that the people have the 100% guaranteed right to reform, alter, and abolish government at will if they're getting out of control. Now, what I need to do is come back and look at you so we can see clearly that the government has limitations, and the government cannot just go about and do whatever they wish to do. But for some reason, government actors around the nation have continuously broken the law, shut down your businesses, shut down your opportunities to make a living, stopped you from being with your elderly and with your loved ones during COVID. They've done all these things. And when we go to attorneys to try to understand what we can do, they say, well, you just got to follow the government. I mean, we got to wait on the Supreme Court to give us some understanding on what the law really means. So they have a license, they say, to practice law. But they got to go all the way to the Supreme Court to ask the court what the law really means, and they can't just know it on their own. They'll let you pay for a case, but they don't know on their own without the Supreme Court. So now we know that many states have had situations where the Supreme Court have come out and said, you were not supposed to force them to do this or that. That was actually wrong. So if you want remedy and you don't want 87,000 men coming after you and destroying America, it's deep that our forefathers in the Declaration of Independence talked about how the Parliament made pretended legislation. That means legislation that they actually did not have the power to make. And then another thing that they said is that they created offices and sent officers after us to eat of our substance. I want to ask how many watching today, and please share this, get this out, guys. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed. We're going to get into this 87,000 actors. We're going to get into this whole tax situation. We're going to get into how it started. We're going to get into the real law, and we're going to see some things today where we're going to have to say, what in the world happened? And I promise you, before you get off of this video today, you will see the real law with real remedy. And if anybody tells you otherwise, they're going to do it without showing you the real law and remedy. I guarantee. Because nobody wanted us to see these things and figure these things out, but the time is up. The time is up. What I want you guys to do is go with me. I'm going to pull up something else. Now my screen is going to go black. And I'm going to go to the Georgia Constitution. And I'm going to show you guys real remedy. I'm going to show you guys how everything is supposed to be. And these are more of those things that they did not teach us in school, but are very important to us. So if you look at the top of the screen, it's going to tell you that this is Georgia Constitution, Article 1. And what I'm going to do is show you Section 2. That's right, Happy Goose. We must learn this. Please make sure y'all share this everywhere. This has to get out. Section 2, origin and structure of government. Origin and structure of government. Now, I told you guys in one state that the government servants are just our servants and trustees. That's all they are. I showed you in Virginia. Now I'm going to show you in Georgia. Watch this. All government of right originates with the people. So guys, your forefathers started government without the government's help. It is founded upon their will only. Guys, the government was started upon your will only. Where in any constitution did we say the government can run us by their will? When did their will have anything to do with anything? We got to know this. All government is right of right originates with the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. Public officers are the trustees and servants of the people and are at all times amenable to them. That means they're accountable to us at all times. We can deal with their wrong at all times. And I would venture to say, once again, we can remove them at will. Now, I'm going to come back so you guys can see me. Now, some people will say, well, that's crazy. How can you say we can remove them at will? Because our forefathers put it in the constitutions, plural, that we can remove them at will, and it was an inherent right. It is a right that comes from God that nobody can interfere with. Now, once again, as you can see, for those who are on Rumble, I would like to ask you, were you taught this in school? Were you taught this from the state constitution that you have the power to remove them at will? I need some audience participation. This is for the nation. This is for the people. I want you guys to speak up because we are going to change what is happening in our beautiful nation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys to Kentucky Constitution. I'm going to take you to Kentucky Constitution this time. And I want you to see something that is very powerful. Give me 1 second so I can grab it. So we're going to go to Kentucky Constitution. I want you guys to follow along if you have other devices, so you can see that I'm not making this up. If we can, let's go to the one that says Ballotpedia. And we're going to go to the Bill of Rights in that state. And I'm going to share my screen now. So here is Kentucky Constitution. I will give you a second to get on it. We're going to look at the Kentucky Constitution. Now what we're going to see when the screen pops up for you guys who are online, because it hit already for us. When we click on the Bill of Rights, we're going to see a Section 1 and Section 2. I'm going to read to you guys a few things that our government service understand that we have the right to do, and this fits for Ohio too. Text of Section 1. All men are by nature free and equal and have certain inherent and inalienable rights among which may be reckoned. First, the right of enjoying and defending their lives and liberty. So you got liberty interests that you can defend by yourself. Second, the right of worshiping Almighty God according to the dictates of their conscience. Now they try to tell you, oh, they didn't believe in God back then. They were lying, guys. Third, the right of seeking and pursuing their safety and happiness. You got the right to choose what shot you're going to take, if any. You have the right to tell what you're going to do for your medical health. You have the right to tell if you're going to go to church or not. You have the right to keep your church open if you want to. They have been lying to you. Fifth, the right of acquiring and protecting property. Your money is your property. You have the right to acquire it and you have the right to protect it. Now they're going to tell you I'm lying. They're going to say, if you work a job in America, we have a right to take your whole paycheck. We have a right to take part of it. We'll just write whatever legislation we want and hit you with taxes here and hit you there until we're tired. But is that what the law says? Fifth, the right of acquiring and protecting property. Sixth, the right of assembling together in a peaceable manner for their common good and applying to those invested with the power of government for redress of grievances or other purposes by petition, address, or remonstrance or remonstrance. That word actually means a strong rebuke against government for not following the law, but we have attorneys telling you that you can't know the law without them. So this whole time we've been fighting and going through different issues and problems because government actors have not shown us the law. And then attorneys won't show us the law. Darn, that sounds familiar. Now, for all of you who are dealing with this fight in America, and I'm going to come out and say it, it's going to make some people mad, but right now today, if you are a Christian or conservative and white, you are being punished in America. You are outcast in America. Now, if a man of color believes that it's wrong for people of color to be outcast and shunned and turned into slaves in history, then we darn sure better be willing to stand up for those who are being punished today for the same reasons. Section 2. Now they want to tell you that they could just write law over you and take your property, remove your liberty, your money is your property. Watch this. Absolute and arbitrary power over the lives, liberty, and property of free men exists nowhere in a republic. Well, what if everybody votes, Dave? What if Nancy Pelosi and their whole team want to say that they can take your power away or give more money to other nations or shut down your rights or put you on lockdown? What if they said it? Watch this. Absolute and arbitrary power over the lives, liberty, and property of free men exists nowhere in a republic, not even in the largest majority. What is that saying, people? What that is saying is it doesn't matter how many people get together to vote to say that you can't do what God said you could do, you still can do it. If they try to come together and say you can't own property, you still can do it. So I'm going to show you guys something that is crazy. I'm not going to make you wait the whole video for the first bit of remedy. I'm going to make an outrageous claim. And then I'm going to prove it with the written law. The same written law that the United States government already accepted when they accepted your constitutions. Remember, when the United States federal government goes into contract with the state governments, the federal legislature cannot write any law that will go against any one of your rights that are constitutional. For guys who are in my classes, I need somebody to grab the definition in Black's Law 5th edition of constitutional right. And I want you to be ready to share it and hold it for us and remind me, because you know my brain will get funny. But I'm going to show you guys something. And when you see what the plain law says, you're going to realize there's something going extremely wrong here. And I'm going to make an outlandish, crazy claim. I just showed you guys Kentucky Constitution. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you Arizona Constitution. But before I go there, I'm going to make the crazy claim. I'm going to tell you that men have a right to have the gain in their own industry. They have a right to make wealth and money. And I'm going to tell you that there's a big difference between somebody who is doing commerce with foreign nations, somebody who is doing commerce from state to state, and then somebody who is doing commerce between Native American tribes. I'm going to make the claim that the people who are not working in a commercial sense, it's going to sound crazy, when they're handling their own household and family business, are not to be taxed. Now, this is what's crazy. I'm also going to say the let's go to the federal. The federal government, when they're handling the people's business, they are not to be taxed. Now I'm going to say the state government, when they are handling the people's business, are not to be taxed. Now you think about it. These government officers are registering their cars and paying taxes on their cars as state workers. Now let's take it to the local municipalities. The cities and the counties are not to be taxed when they're handling the people's business. So I'm going to ask a dumb question. If the federal don't get taxed when they're handling the people's business, and the state doesn't get taxed when they're handling the people's business, and the local municipalities don't get taxed when they're handling the people's business, how would it ever make sense that when the people are handling the people's business, that they should be taxed? Think about it. Why would the people be taxed? Now, we granted all the authority to the states to not be taxed, to the Fed to not be taxed when we wrote the constitutions. Why would we write something to tax ourselves with capitation, right? A tax on your head. You're going to pay this much, you're going to pay this much, you're going to pay this much, where they could just tell everybody, we're taking your money. Now, that is an outlandish claim, I know. And please share this with everybody. It's showing me we're up to 211 people. We should be way higher. We're probably way higher, but we should be way higher. So let's look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Arizona Constitution. Once again, I know my screen is going to pop off. We're going to go to the Arizona Constitution, and we're going to go to Article 9, and I'm going to show you something that is extremely heavy. Now, people who have dealt with me have seen this before, but I'm going to approach this for the people of America, and I want to understand and know how in the world this works. Because here is Article 9. Can you guys see the screen share? Article 9 of Arizona Constitution. Okay, it's popping up now. Let me get a drink. Article 9 of the Arizona Constitution clearly says this. Starts off, Article 9 of the Arizona Constitution is entitled Public Debt, Revenue, and Taxation. So let's see who's supposed to be taxed. We're going to start off with number 1. There shall be exempt from taxation all federal, state, county, and municipal property. Okay. So you're telling me all the federal property is to be exempt, all the state property, the county property, and municipal property. Okay, I can understand that. That's fine. Okay, let's go to number 2 then. Property of educational, charitable, and religious associations. All of these serve you guys, you know, or institutions. Now watch these words. Not used or held for profit may be exempt from taxation by law. By law. By law. So they can write statutes to tell how to exempt them, but all of these entities are to be exempt. Now, let's look at number 3. Public debts. See if I can click on that for y'all. Public debts as evidenced by the bonds of Arizona, its counties, municipalities, or other subdivisions shall be exempt from taxation. Wow. So all the government entities, when we wrote the constitutions, were exempt. And we can agree that all of those are exempt. Let me know if you guys can see this and tell me if you agree that all of these are fine to be exempt and we know they're exempt. Let me know. I need some audience participation written down in text on Rumble. A couple of people agree. Anybody else agree that we know and understand that the government servants are to be exempt from taxation? And we can understand that because they're doing our work for us. They're doing our business as our servants. They're working for us. Ephesians 6:1120 said, can the servants be exempt and not their masters? The funny thing is the people didn't even know that they were the masters. But let's look at number 4, guys. This is going to get heavy because it's going to show you that our trustees and servants are hiding something and not telling us the whole truth. Watch this. All household goods. Now, all the household goods, guys, including your car, are the goods that are owned by the people. all household goods owned by the user thereof. I think you own every household good you have, including your cars. Now watch this. And used solely for non-commercial purposes shall be exempt from taxation. All household goods owned by the user thereof and used solely for non-commercial purposes shall be exempt from taxation. And such person entitled to such exemption shall not be required to take any affirmative action. You shouldn't have to do anything to receive the benefit of such exemption. Now, first thing, why in the world are government officials not telling us that we should have every single thing that's a household good be non-taxable? Why do we have government officials and attorneys that don't tell us, hey, when you go buy anything for your house or car, that nobody's supposed to tax you for it? Now, if you don't believe me, you can go on my Rumble channel here and you can see the gentleman named Joseph a couple of videos down, and he's going to show you where he used the law that we showed him, walked into the DMV, showed it to them, signed the affidavit or the certification that says that you swear that you are not using your car for commercial purposes and a couple of other things, and they wiped all the tax completely off of his vehicle. So where he should have paid about $400, he paid $20. If you don't believe me, just go look. Because what's happening, guys, is they're taxing the heck out of people when they should not do so. I'm going to show you another one. Guys, notice that there's a lot of new laws made about property and the property that's used for agriculture or in a trade or business. Watch this. The legislature may exempt personal property that is used for agricultural purposes or in a trade or business from taxation in a manner provided by law, except that exemption does not apply to any amount of the full cash value of personal property of a taxpayer that exceeds $50,000. The legislature may provide by law to increase the exempt amount according to annual variations in a designated national inflation index. Wow. Now, guys, right here you see that if you're in trade or agriculture, they can also make law to, if it's personal property, to give exemptions. But here's what's funny. But if you go up a little bit, it already says that all household goods are not to be taxed. Now, if you come down, you're going to hear the man, Joseph, talk about how he had a military discount. You're going to see that here. There should be further exempt from taxation the property of each honorably discharged airman, soldier, sailor, United States Marine, member of Revenue, Marine Service, the Coast Guard, a nurse corps, or any corps or any predecessor of the component of auxiliary of any thereof, resident of this state in the amount of, and entail the numbers, right? So there's discounts for military people, discounts for widows, and you can see it in the laws of Arizona. But here's what's funny. Why isn't anybody telling us about this? You got people who are elderly who are going into DMVs and paying money and getting taxed when they're not supposed to, and nobody tells them. DMV, which is a private entity, doesn't take out the time to say, hey, you know you're not supposed to pay this. Why is it that so many government actors, and my face is gonna leave for a second, fail to tell us what the simple law says? Why is it that so many fail to just show us that we're supposed to? It said that we don't have to do anything to get the benefit. But if we don't have to do anything, that means that our forefathers kind of expected our servants to tell us. But what do you do when you have a servant in government that fails to tell you your rights in the law? What do you do when they fail to tell you that you are protected from a certain thing? What do you do when they fail to tell you that a law does not apply to you? See, a lot of these people will run around and say this law applies to everybody. The statute applies to everybody, but that's not the truth. The statute does not apply to everybody, because I'll ask those of you who are watching on Rumble, how many times in the last year that you shut down the court at 5 o'clock? Because there's statute that tells the court what time to close the doors. And if they're not ordering you to close the doors because you're not in that position, it's because the statute didn't cover what it is that you do, and it does not apply to you. If I ask you, why didn't you clean up the parks by a certain time? And you say, well, I don't work for the parks. I don't work for the state or the county. So they cannot tell me what time to close the park. Then I would say that makes sense. So then it's true that not every single statute applies to every man or woman. They've been lying. And as a matter of fact, there's a lot of statutes that don't apply to any man or woman. But what I want to do is show you that it is not uncommon for lawyers to hide the truth. There's a lot of people who they went after for the COVID mandates, and they got dragged into court, paid money. Some people lost their whole living, lost their businesses. Their kids had no food to eat. They struggled. They went into bankruptcy. All because someone told them, you can't be open. But that was not the truth when it comes to the law. We can see now that I believe in California that a church won, and it was shown that they did not have the right to shut them down. We have seen where the federal case in Texas, which we put affidavits in, we actually had one of our members in the actual court case and put in affidavits. Those people in that case saw that the federal judge said, no, they can't make you follow a mandate. And then the OSHA case, we sent tons and tons of affidavits to Kavanaugh, notices. And we went after the legislature and let them know. And we showed them where the original law in 1970 used the term that attorneys say don't exist anymore, called the common law. It actually says that the OSHA Act was not meant to, or should not be construed to go against people's rights. The common law rights and statutory rights. But they act like that's an old term that can't be used anymore. It doesn't really mean anything. They're lying. The people have been winning like crazy. But everybody who gave in got ran over. But let's look and see if Jesus said that attorneys had an issue that we needed to look out for. I want you guys to all look at my screen. This is the King James Version of the Bible. This is Luke chapter 11. Luke chapter 11. If you want to get to your Bible, grab it really quick. Luke chapter 11. And we're going to look at verse 52. Luke in the Bible, chapter 11, verse 52. And I want you guys to understand what Jesus said. It's even written in red. It says, woe unto you lawyers, for ye have taken away the key of knowledge. Ye have taken away the key of knowledge. Ye entered not in yourselves. So they have the knowledge, but they hide it. And then they're not going in. So if they represent you, they're not taking you into the way of knowledge so you can really have massive remedy. They're not entering in. And then they see people passing them, learning the law, and they want to interfere. Watch this. And them that were entering in ye hindered. The attorneys are hindering us, guys, from finding the real law. So what I'm going to do, by God, it's not me, it's God, I am going to give you the biggest remedy you have ever seen in your life. And I'm going to do that by showing you what nobody would ever show you. I'm going to make a crazy claim. I'm going to say something so outrageous, you're going to want to laugh for a second. And then I'm going to let you read it for yourself in the real law. I'm going to tell you, people, that all the states are just political associations, groups of people who decide to associate together, who grant authority to trustees or servants or people below them or agents to handle our business. And as soon as they don't handle our business right, we have the right to remove them because they have failed at what they're supposed to do. The government is not some big bad sovereign thing that comes after you like a monster and devours everybody in its face. They are to be your humble servants. And you have not been taught this in your state. In your states, in your schools, you have not been taught this. And the reason you have not been taught this, because if you were taught this as righteous people who love this nation and love God or love conservative values, you would not stand for this. Your forefathers clearly said that the way to keep a free government is a frequent recurrence to the fundamental principles that nobody's teaching us. Some of you are hurt, sad, and down, and you want to fix things, but you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to get into a situation. My screen is going to turn black. You don't want to get into a situation where you go after something or you do something that is not according to what is lawful. I know this about people who are conservative. You don't want to do things that are not lawful. Now, there's many people out there like Antifa who don't mind beating people up on the side of the road, who don't mind hurting people, who don't mind lying and robbing and killing and raping, because that's what they've been doing. And we got government agents who allow them to do it because it strikes fear and terror into the heart and minds of the people. I'm not so ignorant to say that this is not happening in America and that the people of America are not being attacked. I understand it's happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the truth. I just made a crazy claim. I said that the states are just political associations, just corporate bodies. See, there's a lot of people in the law world who are talking now and they'll say, that state is a corporation. We got to go find the de jure state because the other state is missing somewhere. We got to find the de jure state. I'm going to tell y'all a secret. Every single state is corporate, and that's the only way it can be. And I'm going to help you to understand why. When you have one man or woman, that is one of the people. When you want to have another entity that has a whole lot of people, you have to create a fictitious entity so that people can be members of that association. I'm telling you that every state is a political association and is voluntary. You can be involved with their stuff or you can choose not to. You have a birthright in your state to be free. Now, I'm saying some crazy outlandish stuff where attorneys are smacking their lips right now. They're watching the video and they're going, who is this guy? This is preposterous, right? They are upset right now. But when I flip this next link to the Massachusetts Constitution, they're going to suck on their attitude and realize that they've been lied to and they've been lying to you. And the sad thing is, there should be no way possible I can read to you something that says this from a state constitution and nobody have ever taught you. That is sad. We're going to get to this. We're going to read this, and pretty soon we're going to get to the remedy. We're going to deal with this whole tax situation. We're going to actually read the real law, and then we are going to address you, and we're going to talk to you about jurisdiction. We're going to talk to you about the plain power given to the government and what they were not given, and you're going to see in plain English that something is wrong. So let's check and see. We are going to go to the Massachusetts Constitution, and we are going to look and see that it says, it's up already for us in Zoom. Hopefully it comes up for you guys on the screen within a few seconds, because I didn't see it even try to change it. But for those of you who are Rumble, we're at Massachusetts Constitution. We are going to be looking at the preamble as soon as the screen pops up on your page. So once I can see that you can see us, I'll go ahead. Now it's just showing that I pushed the button just now. So we're about 15 seconds to 20 seconds delayed. So as soon as the screen shows up, I'll go ahead. It should be about, okay, there it is. It's up. So I'm going to show you in the preamble what it says. Now, let's see if I was lying to you about how the states are created and what they are. Text of preamble. The end of the institution, maintenance, and administration of government is to secure the existence of the body politic. So what does that mean? There is a political body of people, y'all, that the only purpose for the government to serve is to protect that. And to furnish the, watch this, not just everybody as a whole every 4 years, and to furnish the individuals, the regular people, who compose it with the power of enjoying in safety and tranquility their natural rights that come from God. Now they want to tell you if there's an emergency, we can take your rights away from you. No, you can't. Stop lying. Watch this. And the blessings of life. Now watch this. And whenever these great objects are not obtained, so when the government are not holding up their end of the bargain and they're not obtaining what they promised in the state constitutions to do for you, the people have a right. Not just they have the ability to if they try, not that they have to fight for, but the people have a right to alter the government and to take measures. What measures can they take? Do we have a list here? No, they just trusted you to do the right thing and to take measures necessary for their safety, prosperity, and happiness. So we are going through a hellish amount of inflation. We have oil issues with Biden flying all the way over to some other faraway nation to beg them for oil when we got our own oil while he sells our oil to China. Does that look like what he should be doing to keep us safe and happy and make sure that we can enjoy our lives? When he gets right in and shuts down a pipeline? Let's read the next part so you can see how powerful this is. The body politic is formed by a voluntary association of individuals. I just told y'all, the state is a voluntary association. This is why in your states, it tells you in the constitutions, there can be no involuntary servitude. You can't force anybody to do a dang thing. And since 2020, they've been sneaking and trying to force you to do what they want you to do. So that gets me wondering about this tax situation and these 87,000 armed people. Are they bringing 87,000 armed people because it's voluntary for you to pay a tax? Or is it voluntary for you to pay a tax? Or do they have the right to force you to pay a tax as your servants? Let's look. The body politic is formed by a voluntary association of individuals. It is a social compact by which the whole people covenants with each citizen and each citizen covenants with the whole people that all shall be governed by certain laws for the common good. That's what you actually call the common law. It's not all the statutes. It's the law like don't interfere with anybody's property, don't trespass against anybody or you're liable, and then the government can come after you. Don't rip people off. Simple stuff. Watch this. Now, guys, you got a duty that somebody's not telling you about. It is the duty of the people. Oh, wow. Wait, not the legislature every 4 years? Not the legislature. I mean, not the Senate every 2 years? I mean, we literally have the duty to do something. Therefore, in framing a constitution of government to provide for an equitable mode of making laws, as well as for an impartial interpretation. They can't, how in the world can Hunter Biden be on video snorting coke, Biden and him be doing deals with China, and it's proven, and people be lying and they worked with BLM, used BLM because of the anger, because of things that have happened to people of color in the past. They exploited BLM to go do crimes against conservative white people. And they didn't arrest them. Antifa burned buildings, caused, I think, $1 billion plus in damage, and they didn't arrest them. That every man may at all times find his security in them. Watch this. We therefore the people of Massachusetts, acknowledging with grateful hearts, the goodness of the great capital L legislature, talking about God, of the universe, and affording us in the course of his providence and opportunity, deliberately and peaceably, without fraud. You can't trick people into doing stuff. Violence, you can't beat people up to make them pay you in a voluntary association or surprise. Of entering into an original, explicit, and solemn compact with each other, and of forming a new constitution of civil government. We created the civil government as people for ourselves and our posterity. That's us and our children and our children's children, and devoutly imploring his direction in so interesting a design, a republic, do agree upon, ordain, and establish the following Declaration of Rights and frame of government as the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Guys, why hasn't any attorney or school teacher taught us that we're in a voluntary association that's a body politic, that's purposely created as a corporation that we control, and if it gets out of line, we can fix it at will by the people without anybody giving us permission to? Why did they not tell us that? Why would they ever do something like that? I don't quite get it. I don't quite understand. I can't say that some of you probably noticed that the FBI has been getting in a lot of trouble, and some guy, he's a Caucasian gentleman, his name is Jim Jordan. I think he's from Ohio, right? I think he's from Ohio, but I could be wrong. This gentleman, he has been going after these people called the FBI. And I don't quite understand it, but it seems like some other guy named Grassley and some other people are ferociously going after them. And it's crazy because this is going to be nuts. There's a gentleman, Tyboll or something, who just resigned from the FBI, and then Trump said he got fired. But it's really strange, guys, because there was public statements about the FBI doing stuff wrong by the federal legislature, and that's not normal. They usually come and they ask them questions, and they say, can you tell us why you do this? And Ray says, screw you. Then he turns this way and says, screw you. Then he turns this way and says, I'm not answering you. I'm a boss and I'm the champ and you're nothing. And he just kind of makes the legislature look crummy. But something has been different this time. And for some strange reason, it seemed like something happened that tickled the DC legislature and caused them to get fire under their behind. And then this guy, his name is Jim Jordan again. Yeah, that guy. Jim Jordan came out on a video and said, the American people have figured it out. And he said that twice. Talking about the FBI and their wrongs, that we understand what's going on. How in the world would Jim Jordan, who sits in his office all day, know what the people have figured out? So for those of you who are probably wondering, who is this guy on the video talking, and who are these people who are on the video with him? I don't know if you can see everybody. If they start talking, you can see their face too. You see there's an active speaker view, and then there is a grid view. So some of you guys may be able to see the other people or not, but there's other people here. I want to tell you guys that something happened in real life that not everybody knows about, but a little bit over a month ago, I think it was. You guys can correct me wrong who are here. There are some people here who have what is called a jot form, and I don't want to put them on the spot. But there is a thing called a jot form, and it puts, for the purposes of what happened, put the legislature on notice, especially and specifically Jim Jordan, the Supreme Court on notice, and others on notice. And there was this jot form that was done, right? And there were some affidavits that were sent in paper, or notices in paper, mailed. And it went to this group, to the legislature and everybody over this group called the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So here's what I want to do for the people who are watching today. I want to ask you guys, as you are here, I want you to look up and see if the FBI has a charter. Now, there are a lot of people before us, this group who's here. There's a good number of us on this video with you guys right now. We actually did what's called a notice by God. And we did what's called a jot form. And when we did this jot form, we actually sent it to government officials. Now, if the people who are involved with doing the jot form want to do it, they can tell me they want to show you. I'm not going to say anything because I'm throwing myself over the hill right now. I understand that I'm teaching something and showing something that's going to change America. By God, I believe God's spirit is going to go before us, and it is going to rattle and shake the earth. I think Rumble is blocking the numbers of people who are receiving the video, but I think this video is going to become outrageous. It's probably going to get 20, 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000 views or more. And I believe the people of America are going to take mighty action and change what is the law today. As a matter of fact, no, they're not going to change what the law is. They're going to declare what the law isn't. And then the people who are doing what the law is not are going to change it by God. And we're going to see it. And I want to tell you that I believe this is going to happen probably within the next month or two. There's going to be massive discussion and understanding of what's going on, and massive notice going to the federal Congress. We like to send it to Jim Jordan. And you're going to see a lot of things change. So there was a number of a number of notices that were sent for the government. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it to you, so you can see what we do in real life. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the original IRS site, and I'm going to give you the remedy of your dreams. I am going to show you the unbelievable by God. I'm going to let you read in plain English, and then I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're not going to believe it. You're going to believe that what I show you can't possibly say what I show you, even though it says what I show you. And then I'm going to prove to you with the original law that it says and means exactly what we're showing you. And life is going to change for Americans. America is getting ready to come out of this inflation. America is getting ready to come out of oppression by God. America is going to have people who are unlawfully in prison let out. America is going to have a lot of politicians shaping up, or they're going to be gone out of politics. And the people are not going to just think that they have to wait until some election to fix it. And we're not going to just say this. We're going to prove it. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at the notice that we sent the FBI. Let me get it ready for you. And we will read it off. I hope it's not echoing when I read for you guys. Let me know on Rumble if when I read, if it echoes to you. Now, this is the actual notice. This one was done on August 8th, right? So August 8th is when this notice was created. Now, it's not that far down the line. We can see today that a lot of things are happening to the FBI. And we need to know what happened or see what likely happened. Because if I can get a photo of it, I'll show you guys the number of affidavits that went out. I'm sorry, notices. Please forgive me. I keep saying affidavits. The notices that went out for the Supreme Court and the federal legislature. I want to show you what actually happened so you can understand what you're seeing today. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you can't say those are connected. I can tell you, yes, they are connected. And I can tell you that not only are they connected, but we have been doing this with many different types of situations around the nation, with single people and with multitudes of people. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you the actual notice. Let me know if you guys can see this notice on the screen. Can you guys on Rumble see the notice? And you guys in Zoom, can I have one person come out on Zoom and just tell me if you can see this notice on your screen? Okay, you can see it in Zoom. Perfect. And you can see it in Rumble. Okay, let's go. Now, everybody watch what we wrote to Jim Jordan directly, who started calling people in and talking about the whistleblowers out of nowhere. We've never had this many whistleblowers in the FBI exposing everything and telling on everybody and saying we cheated on an election, we're not going to do that anymore, and saying that they wrote false affidavits against the people and went after people that they shouldn't have. They came out and told us what is happening. And we see the FBI is on its last legs. Even Trump came out and said, oh, FBI, you had the main guy quit. I guess your attack on my family is over with and everything is done. No, dear President Trump. We are not going to stop this stuff just for your family. Your family was affected, Mr. Trump, and you had to see that as a man who was a servant for us. But as the people of America, we have suffered at the hands of these guys creating bad actions and doing wrong and doing fake terrorist plots and plotting to take the governor of Michigan and all this crazy stuff. And the attorneys forgot to tell us something, and we sent over 1,000 of these, and I hope they tell us how many we sent. There's some people in the group, I won't mention their name unless they say I can. I'm going to tell what the notice says. So watch this. Notice to address who chartered the FBI. See, in America, every entity that exists for the United States that we fund and take care of has to have a charter by the legislature by which they were created. Notice to address who chartered the FBI and what authority controls its actions. I, one of the people, as seen in the 50-state Constitution, sui juris, that means able to handle my own affairs with no handicaps and of right, do present you with this notice that you may provide the people with clarity and provide immediate due care. Watch this. Please take notice that as one of the people, I have seen the FBI attacking people on American soil, as well as cover for those who break the law. I know a man right now in New Hampshire, his name is Mike. I've seen with my own eyes on video with hundreds and thousands of other people watching, where he gave evidence of the biggest drug ring in New Hampshire. And then he gave that to the FBI, and they trespassed him on the site, didn't want him there, and called the police to remove him because they didn't want to accept the evidence. I seen personally where we gave the FBI evidence of trafficking in Arizona through CPS. And they went and told the people who we were telling them about what was coming. Watch this. Please take notice that all entities existing in America must have creation. The legislature in the federal was created by the people who sought for a more perfect union. The judiciary was granted one Supreme Court. The executive was granted the seat of the president, not the DOJ, not the FBI. The legislature was granted the authority in Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution to bring forth tribunals lesser than the Supreme Court. The legislature are granted other limited powers in America. Any entity acting as a lawful authority in America should have express written consent and granted authority or general power. So imagine we're sending this to the federal legislature. We're showing them exactly what the law says, and we send it directly to Jim Jordan. The people have assembled together and consulted. Now, Jim Jordan said twice, the people know, they caught on, they know what's going on. The people see clearly what's happening. The people have assembled together and consulted for our common good, and we realize that you, as our trustees and servants, may be unlawfully allowing an entity with no legislative charter to attack the people of America. Showing a charter to the public would be a simple remedy to resolve the first line of issues dealing with the group of people working as FBI, as agents being used against the 50 state and federal constitutions. It is therefore my wish, order, demand that you present a written charter for the federal legislature, from the federal legislature, creating an entity called the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And along with that evidence, constitutional authority from the people to create any entity to be used against them and their private rights. The people are the creators of government, and all authority must come from us. Now, I showed them some maxims of law, and they can't break these. They can't defend them. The main object of government is the protection and preservation of personal rights, private property, and public liberties, and upholding the law of God. That's actually an American maxim, guys, already accepted universally. Please take notice that government is to protect the rights of the people and must derive their powers from the same, from the people. Therefore, there needs to be law clearly allowing for an entity to exist and to be estranged by, see evidence below. Maxim. The government is subject to the law, for the law makes the government. Guys, when we created the state and federal constitutions, we made the government. We're running around begging them to stop punishing us. To please don't send 87,000 people after us. We created the government. We can alter, reform, or abolish our government at will. Oh, it's going to get deeper. Please take notice that as trustees, you should allow, now, so what we did was we said, screw going to the FBI because the FBI is acting like animals and clowns. We're going to go directly to the trustees who swore to us, and we're going to just deal with them and let them know, if you're going to keep letting your dog go off the leash that you know is not created, it's a trespass against us. So look what I said. Please take notice that as trustees, if you should allow an entity to exist and attack the people and fund, assign, or allow it to exist in America under the perception of being lawful without a charter or creation from the federal legislature, you are acting in unison with that entity and committing a trespass against the people. See, let's stop playing with these agencies they say they can't control. Let's just go at the ones who giving them money and allowing them to exist without dissolving them. And we're going to just say it's on you now. This is what we say after that. I therefore demand by right for you as a trustee to present the above mentioned proof and evidence of the creation of the Federal Bureau of Investigation within 5 days to make a public statement where you swear by affidavit that this entity does contain a charter. Any failure to respond with the above mentioned affidavit sworn under penalty of perjury within 5 days means that you agree that you are knowingly, with malice and intent, allowing an unlawful entity to terrorize the people you have sworn to protect. Now, guys, what I'm going to tell you is that after we sent this out, we ended up with immediate action where we see the gentleman named Jim Jordan going absolutely nuts. Going absolutely nuts. We see all this argument and crazy stuff about the FBI. If somebody who was involved with that job form for that for that notice, can you please let me know how many of those got sent out, please, if you want to send it to me by message, if you don't want to speak out loud. Please let me know, guys, how many of those were sent. And if you are, go ahead. So 1,532 notices to the government, including Jim Jordan and the Supreme Court, went out to this on behalf of the people to deal with this entity that is running roughshod over America. That has never happened in history, guys, because nobody knew how to catch these people and go after them. Now, we only sent it to Jim Jordan for a reason. Because when stuff started happening, we wanted to be able to point out the actor who we sent it to, and then show right after all hell breaking loose. So now in the federal legislature, he has come out multiple times, come out with whistleblowers like there's no tomorrow, and they're not scared now. Why? Because Jim Jordan knows that the people understand and know the law now. We are not asleep any longer, and we're coming to correct everything. And when we do this in history with prohibition, 3% of the people learned the law, understood that they couldn't prohibit them from having alcohol. 180,000 people shut down prohibition completely. And I don't even drink alcohol. I'm just trying to help y'all understand. When it came to the revolution, 3% of the people defeated the king with the best military in the entire world. 3%. Right now, today, we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, and will soon have millions by God, who understand the law. And the government is moving based on what we say. We did this with OSHA, and we seen Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court quote the same words we gave to them in the notice. We did this with the UAW. We had Republicans from the different states of the Big Three calling their calling the workers in the Big Three and telling them that their notice was correct, they understand and they want to fix it, and that those who are going crazy in government are trying to force people to do stuff, but they realize the law and they can't do it. The whole mandate for the UAW and the Big Three got shut down. We have the evidence to prove it. So this is not just something when the job form is signed online, does your groups in the mall? Yes, they all go through. So Jim Jordan, as Josh Barnett says, and I don't know why Josh Barnett isn't here, I need to send him a link because he is one of the people who started me out to come around those who were in politics in order to deal with what the real law says. So I'll send him a link if he wants to come on, because he's one who took part in this situation as well. We did some other things that you guys probably, it would blow your mind. A lot of people have told you that there was an audit in Arizona. But the real truth about the audit in Arizona, the people who are here on this video today can tell you about. Because the people who are on this video were actually there when, many of them, when the audit, before the audit started, they were told that the audit was going to happen when no attorney believed it would happen. When attorneys across the nation said it will not happen for you. You are not going to get these ballots ever. And certain actors like Katie Hobbs and Mr. Adrian Fontes and others said, you will never touch these ballots. You will not get your hands on it. Josh and I sent one notice to Steve Chukri out of all these Board of Supervisors in Maricopa. He is the only one who, against the attorney's advice, asked for an audit and did not try to infringe after getting a notice. He's the only one who voted. And then we sent notice to the Senate President, Karen Fann. You can subpoena her phone records and see if you see a picture of us at dinner teaching Karen Fann how to stop the DOJ from interfering with the people's audit. You'll actually see me doing a peace sign, and the conversation was with Senator Kelly Townsend. This way you can verify everything we say. And you need to understand, God is very deep with what he does. God doesn't pick, usually, the qualified to do what he's going to do. Josh Barnett, the link is sent to you. Please say something when you are on. God doesn't usually pick the qualified to carry out what he's going to do. God usually gets the one that you would least expect. And then he uses them to bring forth justice and correction in a way that one cannot believe. So I can tell you what has been done with the affidavits or the notices to the FBI was not done just because of my great skill or something like that. The notices got done because God led us with specific action and brought us to great people who had skill and knowledge, who helped me edit notices to make sure they were right and look right. And people to put together jot forms, and I could have never put together a jot form. I'm not smart enough. I wouldn't have figured out the technology, wouldn't even have spent the time. I hate stuff like that. And people who organized things and people and brought people together, and people who looked up different things that we used. God brought a ton of people together, and many mighty things happened. So what I want to do is, are we frozen, guys? No? Okay, we're good. Okay. So what I want you guys to see, you saw the FBI notice. What I want to do is take you guys to the actual tax website of the IRS. Their own stuff. And what we're going to do is look at some definitions. So everybody, we're going to look at definitions. I want you to get ready because heavy remedy is about to be given. We are about to look at some unbelievable things. And I want you to know and understand that maybe, just maybe, something might have happened yet again where the government doesn't tell you that there's something being hidden from you. So I want you guys to forgive me. My vision is messing up a little bit. I sometimes get migraines at certain lights. So I'm hoping that my vision doesn't go out. But what I want to do is I want to show you the IRS, their own stuff, Title 26. So if everybody can see my screen, please let me know. For those of you who are in the video, in the Zoom, please let me know if you can see this. Yeah, we do want to welcome IRS. We want to ask you guys to really get things under control and start following the law and love the people, because we're kind of smart now. We've learned that people have been breaking the law. So we just ask that you guys watch with us. And if you see something, say something. If you see that the law has been broken, we want you to stand up and see. So my Rumble is just now is showing me push the button to change the screen. So it's going to be a couple of seconds. It's going now. Okay, we got it up. So we're going to look. This is Title 26, right? This title, right, is actually the U.S. code for the IRS. U.S. code for the IRS. And yet, Derek, is definitely non-positive law. Now, guys, I want you to read some of these definitions, and I want you to see if these words mean what you think they mean. So in the statute that we're getting ready to read, there is law. And I'm sorry, definitions for law. And we need to understand the definitions for the title so that we can make sure we understand what we're reading, because sometimes the attorneys will write stuff that don't mean what we think it means, so that we assume it means something, so we do something that'll benefit them and other people but hurt us. So let's see. 26 U.S. Code 7701 definitions. There are great teachers who have shown this. Actually, can you allow Josh to get in, Leanne, please? So what we're going to do, and I'm going to have Josh speak in a second. What we're going to do is look at 26 U.S. Code 7701 definitions. And I want you to see these words and understand if they mean what you think they mean. Starting off in A, it says, when used in this title. What title? Title 26, IRS code. Okay? When used in this title. Okay, so when you use the title of the IRS code, does your person at H&R Block or any tax attorney open it up and start telling you what the definitions mean and look at it? Now notice I'm not going in my own memory bank. I'm not going to some crazy person's book. I'm not going to someone's idea of what something means. I am going straight to the text of the law and showing you guys the real thing. So now, yes. Okay, gotcha. Okay, let me stop sharing for a second, then I'm going to come right back. Where's Leanne? Oh, okay, I see at the bottom. Okay, Leanne, I'm making you co-host. I apologize. Okay, she'll let Josh on. Josh, please mute when you come in so we can knock this out so people don't get distracted and we don't get big bad echoes. Okay, and everybody on Rumble, please let me know if this is making sense to you, because I'm sure you haven't seen this before. Not together like this. There are some great teachers in the law world who have exposed some of these things. We just put things together in a way that is simple, easy to understand, and nobody can beat it because it's in plain English. So we're going to look. And please give me some feedback. Everybody on Rumble, share this. We're at 259 people, 276. We just jumped. People are now sharing it. They're getting heavy because they're realizing, something's coming. So get ready. It says, when used in this title, what title? Title 26. Where not otherwise distinctly expressed or manifestly incompatible with the intent thereof. So to know the intent of what the legislature wrote, you got to go back to the original law. You got to go back to the original law to see what they said. And then when you do that, you're going to be able to see, oh my gosh, the intent of what they wrote is not. Yeah, I do. Hey, these things are very easy to understand when you read it and see it. It's going to blow you away. Watch this, person. Now I want you guys to tell me if you knew that the word person in the IRS whole code, the whole title, means this. The term person shall be construed to mean and include an individual, a trust, a state, partnership, association, company, or corporation. Did you guys know that that's what the word person means in this act? Now, I'm going to tell y'all something that is going to blow your mind, and then I'm going to prove it to you. The federal government has roles that they have when it comes to things that could be dealing with the 50 states. They have roles that they have with just the District of Columbia, and I'll prove it. The District of Columbia does not have a Bill of Rights. I want you to go look and tell me what the Bill of Rights is for the District of Columbia. Because what you're going to find is that when you get to Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution, and I'll show you guys, it clearly says that the federal Congress has the right to write legislation over all cases whatsoever within 10 miles square and the property owned by them. Now, imagine that they can write a law that says everybody in this dang country got to pay us tax. Everybody in this country can't own more than this much property. They can say a lot of things in their statute. And what I want you to understand is, in this nation state, right? Because it's District of Columbia. So District of Columbia is not an American state. Now, what I want you to understand is, I want to look at number 9 and 10 very closely. And we're going to see something heavy. Number 9, the term United States. Now, notice it's talking about the geographical sense. So who geographically does this include? When used in a geographical sense, includes only the states and the District of Columbia. Includes only the states, okay? Now, this is pretty deep when it says only, because if you really wanted it to mean the 50 states and the District of Columbia, you could just say the 50 states and the District of Columbia. But it doesn't say that. It says only the states. So we got to understand when it says only the states, what is it talking about? So here it says state. Now, it said only the states, plural. But then now it's going to tell us that word states, see, watch this. I'm going to use their own stuff. When I click on the word state, please forgive me. When I click on the word, so it says the term United States when used in a geographical sense includes only the states. So the states, they have S-T-A-T-E-S, right? I'm going to make it big so y'all can see it. Only the states. Now here's what's going to get crazy. When I click on that word, states, plural, it goes to the word state. Oh, shucks. They intend for the word states to not mean states, plural with an S. It just means state, S-T-A-T-E. Oh, okay. So then it takes us to number 10. It says state. The term state shall be construed to include the District of Columbia. Oh, wait, hold on. When you use the term include in statutory text, y'all, it means everything else is excluded. And I'm going to prove it to you. It says state, the term state shall be construed to include the District of Columbia. That's only the District of Columbia, where such construction is necessary to carry out the provisions of this title. Well, if you're going to make statute and try to say everybody is bound, you better have jurisdiction over everybody. So notice they went from the word states to state and jumped all the way from this definition state to number 10 state, where it says the term state shall be construed to include the District of Columbia. So if you're using statutory construction, how it is done in law, anytime you say the word state, it also means what this word means, states, and it also means what this word means, United States. When in the geographical sense, we're going to go somewhere, y'all. Get ready. The term United States, when used in a geographical sense, includes only the states. and the District of Columbia. But the word states means state, and the word state means the District of Columbia only. Therefore, in number 9, when it says the term United States, when used in a geographical sense, includes only the District of Columbia and the District of Columbia, they think they're slick. They think they're slick because the definition in the top is equivalent to the definition in the bottom. Because United States, when used in a geographical sense, includes only the states and the District of Columbia. And then they tell you the word states actually means District of Columbia. So guys, this is dirty. Now, some of you are not going to believe that what I just told you is true. So what you're going to say in your mind is, maybe that what it just said did not mean that state means District of Columbia and United States means District of Columbia in a geographical sense. Maybe they could just tax everybody in the world because they want to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. And I'm going to show you guys that we, the people, granted them all their authority. And we told them what they shall do. And nothing else. So let's see, which one do I want to use today? We'll use law.cornell. Article 1, you see right here, it says, all legislative powers herein granted. See, everything we give them is all that we give them. No, it's not an error, and I'm going to prove it to you. See, I go to the original law. So I'm going to take you all the way back to 1913 and blow your mind with what they wrote that's on a PDF. And then I'm going to ask you to tell me, did they make a mistake? No, they made it on purpose. Just watch. We're almost at 300 people. Everybody share. Let's get this going. We are going to shock the nation by God, y'all. Let's get it going. Watch this. All legislative powers herein granted. Whatever we grant them has to be in the text. If it's not in the text, they don't have it. We granted all general powers in the text and nothing else. So watch this. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House. And then it goes to tell everything about their requirements and all that. We're going to go to Section 8. And I'm going to show you some fire like you've never seen before. So what authorities do they have? Let's start one at a time. The Congress shall have the power. How are they getting this power? We are granting them the power. Oh, this is going to get heavy. Get ready. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes. It didn't say on who. Duties. Now here we go. Imposts and excises to pay the debts and provide for the common defense. So the only reason they're getting this money is to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. So if you're going to do some duties, imposts, or excises, it better be uniform. So if you're going to charge some tax on something that's coming in the States and somebody's sending some from overseas, your aim better make sure that it's all equal to everybody and you can't cheat with a different state or give anybody any favor. They can borrow money on the credit of the United States. I'm going to show you what else we gave them power to do as our forefathers. Now, here's where it gets deep. To regulate commerce with foreign nations. So you're going to see that the Federal Reserve Act that I'm going to show you is going to start off dealing with imports and importers. People who are sending stuff from out of the country having a tax placed on items. And then it's going to jump to everybody who's in the United States owes a tax. But then they're not going to tell you right away what United States means. And then most people presume it's talking about them. And then I'm going to show you that they tell you, sorry, no, we didn't mean that. And the attorneys forgot to tell you. And your tax preparer forgot to tell you. And they're talking about putting against 86,000 soldiers. I'm sorry, guys with guns, armed men to come after you for what? Now watch this. They have the power to regulate commerce with foreign nations. So it would make sense that if somebody's selling something from a foreign nation trying to bring it into the country, that they can tax it. Now watch this. Also, and among the several states. So they can regulate commerce between state to state. Make sure everything is fair. Make it regular. Weights and measures. And with the Indian tribes. Okay, that makes sense. Now watch this. Yeah, they have no rights to send our money to the Ukraine. That's some bull. Watch this. Now, notice that none of this said they can tell the people what to do. They can run the people. They can make rules for the people. They want to show you their rules of court. They want to show you their federal regulations. But notice the specific words here, guys, because this is the power we granted. They can provide to and maintain a navy, right? Right here. I want y'all to see this. But the next one says to make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces. Oh, so if you're a government worker, they can make rules for you. Oh, okay. They can call forth the militia. But I'm going to show you guys something else that they're able to do. See, we got a Bill of Rights in our states. And in the 50 states, no legislature, including the federal, can make a law to go against your rights. Now, if you don't believe me, all you have to do is go to the court case called Miranda versus Arizona. Go down to page 491. And you're going to look, and it's going to tell you something very specific. It is going to say that, sorry guys, it's going to say that the people, that the legislature or the, there should be no rulemaking. So where rights secured in the Constitution are involved, there should be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate them. But what I want to show you is different inside of the federal legislation. The federal legislature when it deals with DC, that 10-mile square area. And I'm going to prove it to you. Let's read. It says to exercise, this is what we gave them the power to do, to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 miles square, as may by session of particular states, and the acceptance of Congress become the seat of government of the United States, and to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be for the erection of what? Forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings. And to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying out into execution the foregoing powers. So they can make all the laws necessary to carry out the foregoing stuff. Uh-oh, did everything go out, guys? I'm sorry. So they're not allowed foregoing powers and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department or officer thereof. So they can make legislation over 10 miles square that tells everybody what to do. But they can't make legislation over the people of the 50 states. See, it cannot go past, not 50 miles, 10 miles square. 10 miles square. So when we see that it says in the definition in Title 26, number 9, the United States, when used in a geographical 10-mile square sense, includes only the states, plural. And then when you read the word state, is singular. And it says the term state shall be construed to include the District of Columbia. So the word states was put there on purpose to deceive if you don't read it. And when you go into it, it did not mean what you thought it would mean. So how many people had H&R Block show you that? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow Josh Barnett to talk, because Josh Barnett was actually the one who he was the first one to bring me to the meeting for what was going on with the election that had all these errors and issues and irregularities. And we started putting out notices. He can tell you guys a little bit about what happened with Karen Fan, with Steve Chukri. So you can see that we're not guessing. These are really things that happened that the people did. And when I come back, I would like to discuss with you for a quick moment. I would like to discuss with you the actual title, which I'll have Deborah read, the 1913 Tariff Act. And I want to look in the real law, and I'm going to prove to you guys beyond the shadow of a doubt that all the way back in 1913, they knew exactly what those words were supposed to mean. They knew it wasn't supposed to be taxation for the 50 states. It wasn't taxation for the 50 states before that way. It was the first income tax of its kind, and they threw it and sprung it on the people without you knowing, and nobody has told you over time. Now I'm going to let you see what it meant in the first law. Deborah can tell after Josh speaks. I'll give Josh a few minutes. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to take you guys to a case. If anybody has the case, the Sternberg case, I just want to read from page 942 if you can share it for us. So if somebody can grab that for me while we let Josh speak. Josh, are you ready to come on and speak, sir? I'm going to mute the phone and my video for a couple of minutes and let you go at it. Go ahead, Josh, and please introduce yourself and let everybody know.
And what we did is utilize notices and affidavits from the very beginning. Outside of CPS related issues, we were using notice affidavits to get the Maricopa audit here, to force the hand of the legislature to do the right thing by showing them in the law why we demand it. And what we do is we kind of trap them. We tell you, you can come in here and you can try to take our rights away, but there's going to be penalties for it. We're not going to let you just run around and do whatever you want to do. The people are paying attention, the people are learning, and we're going to lay out our rights, and we're going to make it well known that you're not going to do this any longer. Those days are over. Those days are done. And we've had many successes, from mask mandates to vaccine mandates from different companies and schools to businesses being closed down during the pandemic, and different things happening, that we were able to assist, reopening 140 businesses into the private to keep them from being shut down and saving, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of jobs, and probably many families that keep food on their table and pay their rent or their mortgage. So it was, it was a blessing to be a part of that and to be able to help, so many other people. But we're in a deep nosedive right now, as you guys are aware, in relation to the IRS, the stuff that David's showing today. And I tell you, man, it's like when you dig into this stuff and you realize what they're doing, that's fine. We're all going to figure out after today. David's going to show you what's going on. But it's up to us to act on it. It's up to us to act on this information, to take this information via notice affidavits in the process that we prescribe, that we believe in, and get it out there and let these people know we're no longer going to tolerate this stuff. But it's going to take an act from thousands and thousands and thousands of people to get this out. We can't just send 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 or 100 of these. We need to send thousands of these things out to get their attention. And then at that point, like we do with any affidavit or notice, we dare them to rebut anything that we said. And take a guess. I'll give it just a second. Take a guess how many rebuttals we've received on all of our affidavits over the last couple of years. I know there's a little delay, so I'll give it about 10 seconds. That's right, 0 rebuttals. Not one. Because when they rebut back to us, we demand it on a sworn penalty of perjury. I don't want your opinion. I don't want, I don't want anything else from you. I want it on a sworn covenant perjury. Don't talk. I don't want to hear a word. Because then there's actually a penalty that actually means something to me at that point. There's actually consequence to just saying whatever you feel like saying or your opinion. And that's what these things do. And that's what we've had success with, because we trap these people. They can no longer just say whatever they want. They can no longer just do whatever they want. And it's a lot of fun when you learn this stuff and learn what to do, that you can see that we do have, recourse for the people. We do have something that people can do right now to force change. And to go back to a Republican form of government, to go back to what the law says, and to go back to what these laws, these agencies, these statutes, these everything, and who they're actually applicable to. That's what we need to go back to, and that's our goal, and I know that's David's goal is to root out the corruption. I absolutely cannot stand what I see happening right now in this country. And we want to root the corruption out. We want to get rid of it. We want to get cleaner, fair elections. We actually get the people we need in office without these rigged elections. And we need to fight. We need to fight right now, guys. This is now or never. If you guys haven't figured that out, I know most people here have. But if you haven't figured out that it's now or never right now, I don't know what the hell it's going to take for you to wake up. But I know that most people here are woken up to what's going on. And we need to get this message out today about the IRS and what's going on. And with this affidavit that David's going to have, we need to get it out by 1,000. I want 10,000 plus to send out.
Amen. That's right, Josh. I want to thank you for speaking. If you could mute out, please do. I'm going to jump right back in, guys, so you can see. Deborah, if you can, I want you to grab the law for me. I want to take the people back really quick before we do it to Title 26. And another thing that they've done is they've told you in this title, they tell you as a man or a woman that you have to, as a business or trade, are you guys not hearing me? You have to, as a business or trade, do what the IRS tells you to do. So what I want to do is I want to show you guys something about the definitions in this Title 26. Let's see what it says. So I'm going to share one more time. Deborah, if you're almost ready, let me know. We're going to look at Title 26, and we're going to look up the term. We saw the term state. We're going to look up the term. Oh, am I still muted, guys? Okay, good. You guys can hear me. We're going to look up another word in their terms, right? And what I want to do is, sorry, please forgive me. I want to look up the term trade or business, because it tells you here in number 26. Can you guys see? Number 26. The term trade or business includes the performance of the functions of a public office. What? The term trade or business includes The performance of a public, I'm sorry, performance of the functions of a public office? Now, I know right about now, some of you guys will probably say, um, David has said includes. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean other things too. And that's not the case in statutory construction. But before I go there, I would like Deborah, if we could. Deborah, are you able to find that one? Gotcha. And is there somebody else who can open up the case that I asked you about earlier? Who got it? And I need you to turn to page 942. 942. And Deborah, when you got yours, you can start sharing. I'll make you a co-host. And yeah, Celestial, I'll also make you a co-host too. So we can go one after another. And people of America, I need you to see this. I need you to understand what we're reading. Does it show the page numbers there? Oh, nice. This is good. Let's just start off reading at the top right here where it says an act to reduce. So let's understand, guys, that these people had the power over foreign commerce. Now let's see if they dealt with foreign commerce at the top. You got to move the screen a little bit over to the left, or the words. They're all the way to the right. We can't see. Okay, there we go. Wait. I think that's better. Oh, Deborah, they're saying they can't hear you. Is everybody hearing Deborah yet? People, okay, good. People on Rumble, let me know if you can hear Deborah. Go ahead and speak, Deborah. You got to move the screen a little bit over to the left, or the words. They're all the way to the right. We can't see. Okay, there we go. Wait. Hold on. They're saying they can't hear you, Deb. So let's see. Something must be wrong. Okay, can everybody hear Deborah now? That is strange. That is strange. Okay, everybody's saying they can't hear. Josh is saying he can hear. I can hear you. Josh, can you hear her inside of Zoom or outside of Zoom? That's the issue. Wow. So they seem to have stopped sound on Rumble. Can you guys? Okay. Oh, every. So let's do this on Rumble. Let's have the people on Rumble go out and come back in and see if you guys can hear her, because she's not talking now. But people on Rumble, go back and come back in and see if you reset everything, if you can hear it. Deborah, what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to mute on Zoom, and I'm going to ask you to speak. Just start speaking now, and I'll turn up my phone so I can hear you on Rumble. So go ahead, you can start speaking. Okay. So let's do this on Rumble. Let's have the people on Rumble go out and come back in and see if you guys can hear her, because she's not talking now. But people on Rumble, go back and come back in and see if you reset everything, if you can hear. Deborah, what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to mute on Zoom, and I'm going to ask you to speak. Just start speaking now, and I'll turn up my phone so I can hear you on Rumble. So go ahead, you can start speaking. Okay. We're trying now. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can hear you now. Let's have the people on Rumble go out and come back in and see if you guys can hear her. It's delayed a ton, so we're going to see now. Go back and come back in and see if you reset everything, if you can hear her. Deborah, what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to mute on Zoom, and I'm going to ask you to speak. Just start speaking now, and I'll turn. It's just now getting ready to speak now. It's so delayed. So go ahead, you can start speaking. We're trying now. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can hear you now. Okay, Deborah, your microphone is super low, so people can't hear you. So let's try this. Let's see if we can get Celestial to read the top part of the screen. Celestial, can you come on? Okay, can you read for us, Celestial? Okay, we're going to stop. So what's happening is, for some reason, Rumble is not allowing the sound to be loud for the people. So I'm going to just go ahead and read it. So can you scroll it up for me, Deborah? So guys, I apologize. Let's go down. Let's go up some. I'm sorry. Let's go up. So watch this, y'all. We're going to see it is really clear. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at when the act was first started. So let's go back to where the act was first started, Deborah. And when we look, it is going to clearly say, it says, be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled, that on and after the day following the passage of this act, except as otherwise specifically provided for in this act, shall be levied, collected, and paid upon all articles when imported. Now they can do commerce with the foreign nations. We showed that in the Article 1, Section 8. There shall be levied. We showed they could do levying, collected, and paid upon all articles when imported from any foreign country into the United States or into any of its possessions. Now, we know what the United States means. It doesn't mean America, but let's not take my word for it. States or into any of its possessions except the Philippine Islands and the islands of Guam and Tutuila, I guess it's called, the rate of duty which are by the schedules and paragraphs of the dutiable list of the section prescribed, namely, dutiable list. Now, these chemicals and paints and oils are all the different things that they are going to put a tax on if it comes in from another country. Now, this is important because they're telling us there's certain things that need to be paid when something comes in from another nation. Now, in order to understand this, we need to look at a couple of pages. I believe it is page 166 I need you to go down to, Deborah, or let's just go to section 2. Section 2. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Section 2 is section 2 is on page 60 of the document. Yep, we are good. Okay, so what we need to understand is on page 60, which is section 2, we are going to see the first part of the section 2 of this statute that they put together. And what it says is section 2A, subdivision 1, that there shall be levied, assessed, collected, and paid annually upon the entire net income arising or accruing from all sources in the preceding calendar year to every citizen of the United States. Well, we need to know what in the world do they mean when they say United States, because if it's like that other thing, we need to be careful. And then it says, whether residing at home or abroad, to every person residing in the United States, though not a citizen thereof, a tax of 1% per annum upon such income, except as hereinafter provided, and a like tax shall be assessed, levied, and collected and paid annually upon the entire net income from all property owned and of every business, trade, or profession carried on in the United States by persons residing elsewhere. Now, what we need to understand is, what do they mean when they say United States? What do they mean when they say business, comma, trade? You know, we saw business or trade means office. Did y'all catch that? Could it be that this text we are reading that we've been taxed on forever is actually not to be a tax for everybody in America, the 50 states? What if it was only ever for the people in DC and the territories owned within the 10 square miles and the property of those who control the 10 square miles? Deborah, can we go down to section H, please? Yep. You see D. Yep. Do we see H? Where is it? Okay, now here is the original 1913 law. Who in the world was this talking to? That the word state or United States. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. This is big trouble now, because when it says the word state or United States, that means that whatever they say after that should be conclusive on both of the words. It says that the word state or United States, so they're going to have the same meaning, guys, when used in this section shall be construed to include, which automatically excludes, any territory, Alaska, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and the Philippine Islands, all the ones they own, when such construction is necessary to carry out its provisions. Now, they just told you somebody got to pay some tax. And then they tell you if you're in any state or the United States, you got to pay the tax. But then they tell you that the word state or United States means the same dang thing. When used in this section, shall be construed to include any territory, that's owned by the United States. Alaska, owned by the United States. The District of Columbia is the United States, the 10 mile square. Puerto Rico and the Philippine Islands, when such construction is necessary to carry out the provisions. Okay, so let's stop sharing there because this is going to get serious. Now for the case, the Sternberg case, now I need you, Celestial, to please open up your text. And I want to just look at for a moment. I want to look at the case that we have, the Sternberg case. Oh, well, actually, let's look at this right first, because we actually need that word constitutional right. Can you scroll up some? Because it's all the way at the bottom. It's all the way at the bottom now. You got to make the picture come up some, so you can see the definition. I told you to find constitutional right, right? Yeah, okay. No. Yeah, we need to see that. So let's look at it because you got it on the screen now. Let's look at constitutional right, then we'll go to page 942. So guys, when you have a constitutional right, they can't interfere with it. And I want to prove it to you by the definition of constitutional right, and you're going to see it. Where are you clicking? I see where it's talking about the FBI. Not see anything yet, but everything has been delayed. Oh wait, where are you looking at? Oh no, you're supposed to be pulling that picture you just had up that says constitutional right from Black's Law Fifth. It's not on the screen. Nope. Me and Rumble sees the FBI does not have one specific statutory charter yet. They don't have any at all. Okay, I thought I was okay. Now watch this at the bottom, y'all, where it says constitutional right. This is going to be very powerful. A right guaranteed to the citizens by the Constitution and so guaranteed as to prevent legislative interference therewith. Now, there's certain rights that we have, guys, in our state constitutions that the United States agreed to, like the right to gain in our own industry, the right to our liberty, property, our wealth. That's a right. So they can't even write legislation to go against it. So the only thing that bad actors can do is write fake legislation to trick you into believing that's what was going on. So let's look at the court case, page 942. Okay, now we're going to go down a little bit. Okay, so watch this, y'all. This is going to be deep. Regardless, even were we to grant the Attorney General's view substantial weight, we still would have to reject his interpretation, for it conflicts with the statutory language discussed at 942. The Attorney General, echoed by the dissents, tries to overcome the language by relying on other language in the statute, in particular the words partial birth abortion. Now, this case is going to teach you how to understand statutory text. A term ordinarily, in its normal sense, with the DNX procedure, and the words partially delivers vaginally a living unborn child, right? But these words cannot help the Attorney General. They are subject to the statute's further explicit statutory definition. See, when they write a statutory definition telling you what the words include or mean, it automatically excludes anything else. And that's what I was trying to show y'all earlier. Watch this. Explicit statutory definition. specifying that the both terms include delivering into the vagina a living unborn child or a substantial portion thereof. When a statute includes an explicit definition, we must follow that definition. So when they tell you what it includes, they're telling you what they mean when they say it. Nothing else. Are you guys hearing me? Okay, they're saying Rumble is kicking them off. So when a statute says it includes something, it's excluding other things. Watch, they must follow that definition, even if it varies from that term's original meaning. Now, in a case called Meese versus Keene, it says, it is axiomatic that the statutory definition of the terms excludes unstated meanings of that term. So it did not say the 50 continental states, the 50 United States Republican states. When it defined that the word state means District of Columbia and the United States means District of Columbia, it just showed that what they meant to say was the District of Columbia. Look what it says. As a rule, a definition which declares what a term means excludes any meaning that is not stated. So if it's not written, let's get off the case. If it is not written, it cannot be used. So what's happening, guys, is we have found that government actors are scaring the people with all of these 87,000 armed men. If you look at your state constitutions, it tells you that it is not a good thing to have armed men at a time that is not war. So if you're concerned about people coming after you who are 87,000 men who don't know what we just read, I believe that it is time we put together a notice. And we're going to put together a short notice and address it to Jim Jordan. And we're going to address it to the Supreme Court Justice. And if the Lord lets us live, by the end of today, we will have a complete notice to go to the United States legislature, and we're going to pass it through Jim Jordan with an order for him to give it to any other agent of government. And what we're going to do is, by God, we are going to come together like we never have before, sharing this all over the nation. And we are going to bring the truth of the fact that people have been paying taxes in the 50 states to an entity that they were not supposed to, under a law that never said they had to, and no attorney, no government official told us. Now, I showed y'all purposely at first the definitions in their own code. And I knew that some people say, well, it could mean other things. The Supreme Court case shows that the statutory construction that shows a definition that includes certain meanings automatically excludes others. So when they say the United States in the actual original law, 1913, the original law tells you clearly that when these people said the term United States or state, it meant the same thing, and none of it was the 50 states. We also know there's no FBI charter. Now, some people might look and say, okay, David, you know what? I don't believe that it's possible that the government would lie to me. I'm going to use something that's dear to me. I started learning this because of a CPS fight. And I got so good in the fight that we actually started winning. And we actually started getting kids back. God, bless God, I was afflicted. And I had to stop and learn the law. And now some people will say, David, I just can't believe that the government would actually lie to us about what a statute means and hurt people. I'm going to show you guys one that's close to home for me. One that nobody can deny. So In America today, we see Donald Trump came out with an executive order that made a lot of people angry. And then that executive order, he said that he wanted to stop government actors from unlawfully taking children from parents unnecessarily. He said he wanted to get high-level attorneys to interfere with the cases pre-petition because they knew the attorneys for the other side, CPS, was petitioning for people's kids without right. I don't know how he knew that. I mean, he must have read something somewhere or something, or maybe one of his people, or a notice, or a couple, or 2,000 from the people of America. But what ended up happening was he created an executive order after a woman who works for Health and Human Services named Lynn Johnson received 2,000 notices from the people. After she received the 2,000 notices, she went to Epic Times and told Epic Times she wanted whistleblowers for CPS and foster care, just like they're doing for the situation with the FBI now. It's funny that people did 1,500 notices to the federal legislature, Jim Jordan, and the Supreme Court and others, and then they magically come out with all these whistleblowers flying everywhere. The FBI like, we don't want to be part of them anymore. We don't want to cheat on elections anymore. Y'all cheated on elections? Wait, what? Because the way everybody told us it was a hoax, it was a fake, it was a big lie. The news media held. Now the news media trying to come out and talk about Hunter's laptop and how there was some stuff. Why are they doing that? Because they know everybody figured out, and now they colluded in treason, and they're in trouble. That's why they're talking about it. But the woman came out and said, I got affidavits I want whistleblowers. And she says CPS and partners are trafficking. It's kind of crazy because at the top of the notice, it said CPS and partner trafficking. And then after we showed her evidence of what happened at first, we did it in front of the head guy in CPS in Arizona, and he quit 29 days later. Kind of strange. Like the guy in FBI quit, right? The agencies think they can just run and quit when they do wrong. Get the head guy who's causing corruption and run. And we'll just keep the entity. Not today. And Trump said, oh, look, the FBI, they're in trouble. We must be ending my case. Now, Trump, we ain't talking about just you. We're dealing with the whole America, Trump. Trump, we tried to send you notice to save everybody in the nation, which would have, in result, saved you when it dealt with these ballots that came out that Attorney Barr told you not to take. And Cipollone and Meadows told you not to take, and you listened to them. So this time, Trump, we gonna fix it. We love you, but we gonna fix it. So what happened was President Trump didn't go get the ballots, and we sent notice to a couple of people who Josh told y'all about earlier who actually set up for us to get the ballots, and that's how we got the only audit in America with no attorneys. So you see there's situations that are happening in America that we can show you thousands of affidavits or notices coming in right before it happens. So we're going to do our notice today, but I got to show you this law. So what I'm going to do is my screen is going to go black for a second. I'm going to take you to a law called the 1935 Social Security Act. 1935 Social Security Act. And I had it up and it kind of jumped away a little bit. Let's see. 1935 Social Security Act. Where'd it go? Forgive me, guys. We're going to go to the 1935 Social Security Act. I'll just look it up from scratch. Now, what we're going to see is there's a problem. Because if the government is following the law, then we should have a situation where we can clearly see the law that allows them to do certain things. Now, I say close to home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show y'all the original 1935 Social Security Act and what it said. And when you see what it says, I want you to tell me if they follow what it was that they were supposed to do. So let me scroll through here real quick and then I'll share it. Nope, this is just a breakdown. Let me see. Okay, here it is. I think this is a good one. Okay, so we're going to pull up the Social Security Act, guys. And I want to let you see a law. Because in the law, it is going to tell you exactly the opposite of what is happening today. So let me get it shared for you. Here we go. Everybody mute out for me if you can so we don't get echoes. Now watch this, guys. So here is Title 11, General Provisions, right? Oh, wait. Peer review and administrative simplification. That could be dangerous. But we're going to look at Section 1101, definitions. We're going to click on it. And we're going to look at this is the change one. So this one is going to be at 10D, and we don't want that. We want to go to the one that has the original language, because you see they move stuff around. So we're going to go to a different one. Let me grab a different one. We'll try this one. The Social Security Act of 1935. We're going to see what the preamble was for. So it says, an act to provide, let me know if you guys see this, for the general welfare by establishing a system of federal old age benefits and by enabling the several states to make more adequate provision. It's not a law, guys. It's not something to force on people. It was just provisions to take care of needy people. For aged persons, blind persons, dependent and crippled children, maternal and child welfare, public health, and the administration of their unemployment compensation laws. Watch this. To establish a Social Security Board, here's a big one, to raise revenue and for other purpose. So since the Congress knew that they were going to be raising revenue, they understood that they had to make sure that the government agents would not do things that would get trouble caused because they went against the rights of the people. So here's the definitions in 1101 right here. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to make it bigger so you can see. Now, what we're going to look at is the power of CPS, who takes, just in Arizona alone, 1,000 kids a month. And they literally make $1 billion a year taking children. So what we need to do is we need to see if they would ever misconstrue the law. This is the law that created CPS in 1935. Let's see if they're doing what the law said they should do. The Congress told what they intended when they created this law, and I don't think any attorney tells us today. Nothing in this act shall be construed as authorizing any federal official, agent, or representative in carrying out any of the provisions of this act to take charge of any child over the objection of either of the parents of such child or person standing in loco parentis. So they're taking 1,000 kids a month in Arizona. The problem is that when they're taking 1,000 kids a month, they're not telling you that the original law says that no federal agent, officer, or representative can take charge of any kid against the objection of either of the parents. So if one parent wants them to take the kid, one parent doesn't, they can't take them. That's how serious this is. So let's see, this is Title 8 of Arizona. If the attorneys will allow or set the legislatures up to make certain laws that go against the very law that created CPS. And they're doing this for funds, revenue generating funds, in a program. And they're not telling the people. Now, some people will say, well, David, yes, I did see where it said that no federal agent should take kids. But the CPS is not a federal agent. And I say, don't be so fast. Because what happens is when you join a federal private program to make money in a business venture, you're no longer acting as government and you're acting outside of your normal position as a judge or as some other government official. So what we're going to do is look at 8-453 so I can prove it to you. We're going to look at Arizona State Legislature 8-453, and we're going to look at the director of CPS in Arizona. And if you look here, statutory construction, it tells you his powers and duties, and then it tells you who it's talking about. And it says in A, the director shall. Now, what I want you to do is see that after we just saw that it says no federal agent can take any kid, the attorneys got the legislature tricked into writing a statute that says the most crazy thing in the world. This is talking about the DCS head guy in Arizona, and it says the director shall act as an agent of the federal government in the furtherance of any function of the department. So in other words, the government officials in Arizona have been tricked into taking 600 to 1,000 kids a month and making $1 billion a year stealing people's kids, when the very law that created the ability for somebody to take people's kids into care says that you can't take kids. Now, if somebody's, hurting a kid where you can see it, right? You can see real evidence, then you arrest them, and that's how that works, like the normal law. But you got a group of people taking 600 to 1,000 kids a month, making $1 billion a year, and they get worse. 88% of the kids found inside of CPS and foster care, inside of trafficking, 88% of the kids found in actual trafficking by the feds are people who were in CPS and foster care at the time they went missing. Now, they can't get 88% of the kids to graduate high school, but they can find a way to get 88% of the kids who end up in trafficking directly from CPS and foster care. So, guys, I tell you, when David Farnsworth, the ex-senator who's probably going to be a senator again soon in Arizona, when he came out and told that the state was just losing kids and he didn't understand how, we saw the Fed come out with a report shortly after Lynn Johnson exposed that she wanted whistleblowers telling that the kids who were found in trafficking federally came directly from CPS and foster care. So what I'm telling you guys is, if you can see clearly in that law that it says no federal agent is to take kids with the parents' objections. Now, if there's real crime where you can see it right there and you arrest the parents and you take them and that's it, it is what it is. That's what's supposed to happen. But how are you just taking kids for sport and making billions of dollars, probably not paying taxes on that money either? Oh, well, you probably know that we're not supposed to be paying it. How is it that you are running trafficking schemes and you look at the news media and they hid trafficking for Biden and Hunter? And if you look at the news media and they hide what happened with Epstein, where we see a lady, Ghislaine, go to jail for letting absolutely nobody rape kids, and they seal it all and they hide it. The maxims of law tells us that the FBI and anybody else involved should not be hiding this stuff. But just like I told you guys with the guy named Mike from New Hampshire who showed drug dealing and cartels who offered to pay him $50 million to be quiet, and he had the document, when he told them that they were running scandals and doing all types of crimes, they didn't want to look into it and went after him. When we told them about CPS, the woman named Lisa, who was the FBI agent, started crying when I was telling her with a group of other people. Because she knew I really knew the law and everything I was showing. She was like, oh my gosh, this is a corporate fraud. This is like corporate trafficking. I'm going to tell my higher ups. And then they let it go up a little bit and shut it down. So what's happening is this FBI group, who does not have a charter, has been covering trafficking for a long time. They've been covering wrong for a long time, and it's about time that the people by God, it is not the power of us, but the people by God need to stand in the strength that God gives us. Read Psalm 27 if you need some extra courage in the King James Bible. Psalm 27 will wake you up and let you see the mighty power that God has. And we have won victory after victory in hundreds, if not thousands of instances across the nation by the people having the courage to stand, using the real law and reading it word for word. And I'm going to tell you, this nation is your nation. Your forefathers would be rolling over in their graves if they knew what you were doing right now, if you're letting this stuff go on without saying anything. I'm going to give you guys one last thing to see before we go. And I ask that you see this, that you allow it to permeate your soul. Because right now, today, people will make fun of you and say that you're crazy or stupid or racist for just standing up on that which is true and right. And what we have to do is not allow people to shame us into giving away our rights, giving away our freedom, giving away our country. This is your nation, and your forefathers loved you enough to tell you what we just showed you today. And so I'm going to leave you with one last love letter from your forefathers. And I pray that you see it. I pray that you believe it. I pray that you understand what it says. So let us share this last thing from the Tennessee Constitution. We're looking at the Tennessee Constitution. I pray you guys can hear my screen. See my screen. And it says, Section 1, that all powers inherent in the people, that's you guys, and all free governments, y'all don't want to be a slave, are founded on the people's, their authority, and instituted for their peace. Y'all are not at peace right now. Safety and happiness. If you're not happy, they don't need to be here. For the advancement of those ends the people have, at all times, not just every 4 years or 2 years, an unalienable and indefeasible right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper. How? However you may think proper. How? However you want to as a people. We can come together and do it. Text of Section 2. Don't feel bad about people telling you that you should be quiet, or you're white, or you're older, or you're just a conservative, or you're a Christian. You shouldn't be talking about this. Mind your own business. Here's what the law says. Your forefather left it as a love letter to you for a time such as this. Section 2. That government being instituted for the common benefit. How are they benefiting you? By sending 87,000 soldiers against you when they were already unlawfully taxing you. The doctrine of non-resistance, meaning just letting it go, just move on. Let's worry about 2024. Against arbitrary power and oppression is absurd, slavish, and destructive of the good and happiness of mankind. Guys, I want you to know that I wish for you to share this video across the nation, because we are bringing real remedy by God. We will have, if the Lord lets us live and is so gracious, a notice done by today. By tomorrow morning, if the Lord wills, we should have a notice already prepared, ready to go in the form of a job form that everybody can sign and bring this, what we just learned today, to real positive action that has worked for us in tons and tons of different situations, hundreds, if not thousands of cases. This is your nation. It belongs to you. God loves you. Your forefathers loved you. I am but a nothing that's coming before you to show you what was already written in your law that nobody taught you. And I believe that it is unfair for you to go through life and pay money for school and your parents to pay taxes for your local schools, and you never, ever, ever, ever see this. It has to be a reason. So with that, I want to thank you all for coming on this webinar today. We prayed once on the way in, but we could pray again on the way out. Carla wants us to pray on the way out. And this is our opportunity, guys, to stand and fix the things in our nation, just like we saw with the FBI and 1,500 notices. I believe this one is going to be bigger than ever. This video is free for America, free for you to share around to everybody who you can get it to. Share it with people, get people to eat food with you and let them hear it. Whatever you got to do to get this out, we must finish this amazing work. What I would do, if you guys can agree to check back in on this page, subscribe if you can. I'll put a link. I'll try to edit the video if I can and put a link under this video. But if I can, I'll make a new video with a link to be able to do the job form. We will share it through all the Telegram chats. We'll share it through all the other places. We have 1,500 to 2,000 people in only a couple of our chats. So we have more than America has ever seen in just that. But I believe this is going to, thank you so much, Laura Lee. I believe we're going to see fire across the nation, across the world. Thank you, Happy Goose. So let us pray, guys, and then let us close out. I thank you guys for coming. Dear Heavenly Father, we come thanking you for your words, Father. We thank you for your ability to show us even beforehand what was coming with lawyers. And Father, we thank you for letting us diligently look at the law. We ask you, Father, to bless those who are in government, Father, who want to do the right things and stand on the truth. Help them to have a way, Father, to come to you and be saved and to make peace with the people, Father, and do the people's will. Father, we ask that you help us with all diligence, peace, love, and diligence to give this word to the government servants so that they may learn what the truth is, Father, and that we might bring them to a frequent recurrence to fundamental principles. Father, we ask that you restore this nation and that you be with us, Father. And we thank you, Father, for loving us this much to let us learn these things. We thank you for the good times you have given us, Father, with all the victory. But we also thank you for the bad times, Father, that was affliction that moved our souls to take action. Because, Father, with you, we have become greater and stronger, and we are seeing the mighty works that you have allowed us to do. And, Father, we just thank you for allowing us to partake. We ask that you restore this nation, restore the people of their wealth, Father. Bring their hearts back to you. Let them see in the state constitutions how much their fathers loved you, and let it be a testimony, Father, that they may come to you. Let us have major victory, Father, so people can see your mighty hand and know that you've done it, that no politician had the power to do what you can do. Not the name that people hold up as the biggest can do it, but you can do it. Nothing is too hard for you. So we thank you for the victories, Father, and we have joy in what it is that you're going to do for us. And we just ask that you bless us and keep us and protect us. We ask that you open up doors for a major victory, heal the people, Father, heal the nation, heal those who are unlawfully arrested, all those children who have been unlawfully taken, bring them back and restore, as you did in Isaiah 49 in such a similar time. And we just thank you for this, Father. We love you and we praise you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, y'all. Well, it is game on. We are going to have more victory as every other time. I told you guys. Give it a couple of weeks. Give it 30 days. Give it 60 days. You guys are getting ready to see one of the most powerful, peaceful changes in government that you have ever seen. And I'm going to tell you, the government is not allowed to make ex post facto law. They can't make law after the fact. After we show them what they did wrong, they're not going to be able to make a new law to fix it. It's game over. They're going to have to correct everything they did wrong. And just like y'all saw Joseph go and free himself of taxes on that car, that expensive car, you're going to see, by God, the people be freed from this 87,000 clowns that they want to send after people. And all of those who tried to force stuff who could never prove the law before, the people of America are full of wisdom now. We are too educated by God, who has blessed us to be able to see these things. There is nobody who can touch the truth that we have. And I'll tell you, if there's any government official or attorney who wants to swear by affidavit that this ain't true, go ahead and show us the real law that's been passed that says you can do what you're doing. And while you're at it, go tell us why Title 26 by the name has never been enacted by Congress. The Tariff Act and the different acts we showed you were enacted. The positive law, why are y'all taking people to court for Title 26? And it's not a secret, because we know that you take people to court and you try to do a hearing outside of law. You want to try to go into an equity court. We know why you're doing that. So stop playing. The people are coming with love, peace, and truth. Don't stand in the way because the law is real and the law is a judge. Don't get in the way of the people who learn the law of God. That time is up. I love you guys. Please share this with everybody. Share it like you ain't living no more. Share it like tomorrow is the last day in your life. Share it like crazy, y'all, because we're going to fix stuff and we're going to take joy in what it is that God does. I thank you guys. I want to wish you guys a good Tuesday, I think it is. I don't work a 9 to 5, so I don't know what day it is. But I want you guys to be blessed and be happy. And I did not record this video, so I hope the other app recorded it. Oh, gosh. That's bad. Okay. Oh, no, it's on Rumble. So hopefully Rumble is good, and I recorded it to the other app, so hopefully it's great. All right? So I love you guys. You guys stay out of trouble. We're going to go ahead and end this video. You guys have a blessed day. Give me some feedback. Let me know what y'all thought. Put some comments in the comment section so Rumble will stop blocking my stuff. Let's go, y'all. We love y'all. Peace.